We'll get right to the Bills news because there is important Bills news, and we'll probably get more details on it in the coming days. But Max Hairston, Buffalo's top draft pick, had some kind of injury during individual position drills. The DBs were executing pass rush drills, and it looks as though there was a accidental collision where he got tripped up, and he tweaked something on his right leg. We don't know the nature of the injury. It hasn't been officially disclosed by the club, so we will find out at a later time, presumably the next time Coach McDermott addresses the media. He did walk off under his own power, so that was encouraging, but he was walking off very slowly and somewhat gingerly. So we'll await updates on that. Hopefully it's not serious or severe or keeps him out for any length of time, as the injury list has gotten considerably longer in the last couple of days, the last 2 days being padded practices. Although most of that long list happened before the first padded practice even got started.
Yeah, none of the injuries before this one with Harrison, which we don't know about, none of them seemed serious. The most serious one may be Spencer Brown's back, which may be chronic. Other than that, it's pulled muscle here, pulled muscle there, popped calf, that kind of stuff. So that's, the one thing that's been good about it. It has been long. And some of it is, I think, this team and their cautious approach to injuries in general. So they'll give a guy a day off in training camp if he's got a little soreness and that kind of thing. So there's a little bit of that going on, but nevertheless, up until today, there was nothing about the injury list, even its length, that really bothered me. And so, Hairston's really the first concerning thing to happen on that front for me in the entire camp.
Right. So you hope it's nothing. On the positive side, Dalton Kincaid, after missing yesterday due to knee soreness, was back on the practice field and participating fully today. So that was an encouraging sign that we witnessed on the practice field. New additions to the non-participation list, 2 linemen, Alec Anderson, Mike Edwards, although both were out there walking around and observing practice. So, you hope those guys, maybe they got a rest day or whatever it is, it's not serious. So that's the situation there. Also, KJ Hamler did not practice again today, along with a long list of others, including Tyrell Shavers, Caden Prather, Spencer Brown, Dawson Knox still not back, Tyler Bass, Terrell Bernard, Dorian Williams. So the list is still considerable, but Kincaid was one of the players back in action today. So that's kind of the long and short of the injury list. And then, as far as other Bills notes go, I would say that on offense, we saw 2 very long touchdowns today. The first, a 70-yarder from Josh Allen to Steven Gosnell, the rookie undrafted free agent. Made a nice play, got behind the defense. And then Mitch Trubisky hit Deion Kane for a 60-yard touchdown. So that was good to see. Some big plays from the offense for the first time in camp. Milano and Daequan Hardy with interceptions today on the defensive side of the ball. Milano's almost looked like a gift. I swear Josh threw it right at him.
I told you, I call that a morale ball. That's almost like your offensive coordinator on a bad day for the defense will lean into the starting quarterback and say, hey,
just throw him one.
Give him one, would you? Josh,
make him feel better.
It looked like Josh was throwing it right at him. I mean,
because there was no receiver in the area.
Yeah, so I'm teasing.
Yeah, I know.
A little bit of that. But
Hardy had a nice interception deep over the middle, a sliding interception in the secondary, so that was good to see from the former 7th-round pick in the 24 draft who was on the practice squad all last year, so good for him. PBUs turned in by Cam Lewis, Greg Rousseau again at the line of scrimmage for the second day in a row, and Tre'Davious White with a nice pass breakup in the last 11-on-11 session deep down the left sideline, intended for Coleman, and he knocked it away with his hand. So that was a good job by him. He was in trail technique because he knew he had safety help over the top.
Yeah, it's one of those days they were working on third and long.
Third and long and 2 minutes.
2 minutes. So there's going to be some shots taken. and they hit on a couple, but they also got defended. So it was a good day for both. It was fun to watch. It was one of those practices where you do get to see some action in the throwing game.
Yeah.
And it was a lively. I thought it was a really good practice on both sides of the ball.
Shaq Thompson, the veteran who's coming off an Achilles injury and has spent virtually his entire career with Carolina, is flashing. He's showing up. Second day in a row, he's out there making plays. Had a sack today. Was really hard hitting in the run game yesterday. You noticed him. You felt his presence on the field. And he's been getting rotated up with the first unit. He is the third linebacker in their base set first-team defense, and he also got paired a few times with Matt Milano with Bernard out. So he's a veteran player who's showing well coming off the Achilles injury, and he's getting more reps because of it from the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Guy knows his stuff, knows this scheme.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how this I don't know what you call it, how this training camp percolates this roster, right? Some guys percolate up, and then some guys percolate the other way, and you never know who are going to be the last 11 standing in offense, last 11 standing on defense, and usually, obviously there's maybe 15 guys on both sides of the ball that really play a bunch in sub-packages. I got to tell you, I don't know who's going to be on either side.
Yeah. There's
really
a lot
don't.
to still be
There's
determined. I think it is going to take preseason games to get the separation. The coaching staff's probably going to need to make, just so they're sure they're making the right decision.
Coach will tell you, there's the team. You come into training camp, here's the team we want to be, guys. Here we go. And then you go through training camp, and then maybe the first couple of weeks of the regular season, okay, the guys, this is the team we need to be. We wanted to be this, but we need to be this because here's what we can do. That's the way it works. And teams like Buffalo, offensively, kind of do whatever they want. With a guy like Josh and the guys that they have and the way they're running it and at the point of evolution they are. Defensively, I think it's a big find-out mode now about what we'd love to be this kind of defense. Like Sean McDermott told us 2 days ago, we want to be a nasty, physical defense. Yeah. You may need to be something else. We don't know that yet. Or they may be exactly that. Defense is going to be a question until we see it.
Guys that were noticeable among the rookies, tight end Jackson Hawes and center Jacob Bayer, who is an undrafted rookie. He's getting a lot more reps because Cedric Van Pran Granger has missed the entire training camp due to a calf injury suffered in workouts literally a week before camp started. So he is still on the shelf, and Jacob Bayer has benefited because of it. Steve and I were watching him during one-on-one drills, one-on-one pass rush drills, and this guy is anchoring down and stoning Zion Logue. He's anchoring down and holding up Deion Walker, the biggest defensive lineman on the team. And Bayer is not big. He is kind of a squatty center.
Yeah.
But, man, can he anchor. It was impressive to watch him.
Because he went up against some guys like Loge and also Deion Walker. And, of course, those two guys, when you see a guy who's shorter, you think, okay, I'm going to try and bull this guy and get him back, raise him up and get him off his feet and get him on some skates toward the quarterback. Both those guys being bigger dudes think that's their strength, right? He wasn't having it, man. It was. I was like, wow, he did it. And like you did it once, and you're like, okay, he did it. Did it again. Yeah, so it was impressive, and that's the fun part of this whole thing. And I think at this point in these training camps, when you're outside of the old two-a-days and the padded practice and stuff, those individual drills where they kind of go hard are really important for evaluation. And Brownie and I find it fascinating to go down there and watch those offensive and defensive line one-on-ones. Fascinating. And
Tylen Grable had some good reps too. Off the edge, he won a one-on-one battle with A.J. Epinesa, and then he locked out Landon Jackson on another rep. And just kept him away from the pocket. And then he had another rep where he was facing Hayden Harris, and he rode him all the way around the pocket and just kept going.
30-foot circle, all the way. I mean, almost all the way around the circle. It was Grable's. I think when you watch him, the thing you start to notice is, man, he he can move. He can really move. He goes side to side.
For a lineman, he's like a loose athlete, which you don't see very often.
He looks like a regular offensive lineman, maybe a hair even short for a tackle, given the guys that are standing around him. But he ran around that circle with Harris like it was nothing, had him on there, and he moves side to side, catches the up and under move, stays with the swim move. He moves laterally very smooth. He's an athlete. And people will tell you, and I had an old offensive lineman tell me, left tackles are those elite athletes. They're big, they're huge, they're strong, they can move, they're different. Right tackles, really all you need is a mean streak. That was his synopsis. And Grable seems to be able to play both sides, so that's kind of cool.
And then finally, near the tail end of practice, tempers flared, and there was a scrap totally away near the defensive sideline by Chase Lunt and Jamarcus Ingram. Offensive tackle versus corner, which may not sound like a fair fight, but it spilled over into the sideline. Huge pile-on of players, like 30 or 40 players. Guys getting knocked over, and it's like, oh, man, there's too many people in there. Get him up, get him up, get him up.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Ingram had been having a long afternoon. He had gotten beaten for some big plays in the passing game. So I would imagine he kind of boiled over when, a tackle comes out there and he's blocking him and kicking him out on the edge. And it spilled over into a scrap. So it's hot out here, and it's near the end of practice. You've had a rough day. You're going to get some of that.
The defense has, for whatever reason, they are taking it to the limit on some of the downfield plays. They're giving the extra one-step finish off. Some guys are starting to take exception to it, all of that thing. But it goes both ways, too. The offense can finish off plays like that as well. And I think this training camp has been like that more than any training camp we've seen from Sean McDermott. They're the extra step, the extra thud, a little extra grit. There hasn't been a bunch of brawls like the one he just described, but it has been contentious on both sides. And there's a lot of yapping going on, more so than in years past. Don't know if it's the reason or whatever, but you and I are having a conversation about Benford today. Or maybe was it you I was having the conversation with? We talked to so many people on the sidelines. Benford is growing into cornerback.
Yes, we were
one.
talking about that.
Benford has become the alpha guy back there, and he's owning it. And he always seemed to us kind of a quiet guy. Like, he is not quiet.
No, he's more vocal,
He's
not
more
only from a
vocal.
trash talking standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint too.
And he's also setting the tone physically on every rep.
I think the big contract extension was validation for him that he's the man, because he's the highest paid defensive back on the team. So I just think it cemented in his brain, oh, I am the guy.
And rightfully so. He probably says, you know what? Now, and they probably told him, have given this message. I don't know, but I know how this works. They give him that contract, and the GM and the owner and everybody's over there shaking hands. Then he gets over to the football side, and the coaches are looking at him and go, okay, now it's you. We need you to do this and this. Yep. This is your team. This is your team. Step up and own it. And he has responded to that message, no question about it.